AFC South, too, look out.
Well,
you know what I mean? AFC South, look out. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Lambo, 2 of those 4 teams are actually 0-3. It's by far the worst division in football. There's no question about that. But
a lot of season left.
Plenty of season left. Yeah, with those 0-3 teams, the Titans, Jags, and, of course, the Bengals, do you think all of those teams are hitting the panic button right now? We saw after the Monday Night Football game, Joe Burrow was heading towards Zach Taylor's office with the coaches to have a little meeting. Do you think they're kind of all screwed, or how do you think any of them, if they can, turn it around going forward for the rest of the season?
Well, I mean, Cincy's problem was they couldn't stop the run. Now, look, they didn't have B.J. Hill in the game. They didn't have Sheldon Rankins in the game. That made it very difficult. But I think the thing that makes it hard for Cincinnati is they're 31st in the league in rushing attempts. They don't really help the defensive coordinator out slowing the game down. And, look, they didn't make Washington punt the whole day. They never could get control of the game, and that's a real problem. And I think their defensive front isn't playing to the level we've seen it play in the past. Jacksonville, to me, that game was a disaster from start to finish in Buffalo. And they had opportunities to win 2 games. They should have beat Miami. They should have beat Cleveland in week 2, but they just can't seem to make enough plays in their passing game. I mean, Trevor Lawrence can't seem to make plays. Their offensive line hasn't played very well at all. And the pressure's on them. I mean, look, Shah Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, came out and said this is the most talented team they've had in Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, Tony's been cooking down there. He's the chief football strategist.
Yeah, he knows.
I don't see that, though, Pat. I mean, when they had Baselli, Brunell, and Fred Taylor, those teams were really good. Those teams were unbelievable. Jimmy Smith, that this team to me isn't there. This team has some talented athletes, but I don't think they play as a team. I think it's a collection of talent, not a team. And what bothers me about Jacksonville, Chuck, is I don't know if you see this on the tape, but I don't think they're tough enough. I don't think they'll smack somebody in the mouth. I think they'd rather run Y stick to get 2 yards than just run a lead play and show they got physical toughness.
I agree.
Oh, geez.
Not good.
Everybody's calling the Cowboys soft because their defensive fits are around. And by everybody, it's not us. We were just saying that is an actual thing being said about the Cowboys defense. And all of a sudden, you got Chuck and Lombardi going, Jacksonville Jaguars is soft.
They're way soft.
What are we even talking about?
When why you
That's not a good thing to say. Jacksonville Jaguars, that's not a good thing to say.
Well, look, here's the reality, though, Pat. It's a term we use in terms of being able to power the football. And one of the ways you have to score in the NFL is you got to run the ball in. I mean, it's hard to throw it in those windows. You got to have, when it's third, you got to be able to power that line back. And Jacksonville couldn't do it. And I think that lends itself. Your short yardage, here's one of the biggest things that's happened in the NFL. Short yardage and goal line has really taken a step back because there's no practice, because there's no physicality. And the teams that can execute on third and short are the teams that are tougher, the teams that can win these close games.
They changed that defensive staff down there too, right?
Yep, they did. Ryan Nielsen came in, who did a really good job for Atlanta. They were third in the league in third down defense last year, fourth in red zone in Atlanta with no pass rush. But, and he was they were playing well. They were playing well in the first 2 games.
Shut up. Hold on one second. Lombo, you're in the middle of a minivan in the middle of a storm. Hurricane, sorry, in the middle of a hurricane. And you just pulled what Ryan Nielsen's stats were last year for the Atlanta Falcons. Now he's at the Jacksonville.
He's a machine.
Absolute machine. That Berman guy that's next to you with the cowboy hat's got to be like, Jesus Christ, I had no idea.
No, he doesn't think I know anything about football. He won't even listen to me on his fantasy team. He made a trade last night and didn't even talk to me about it. He just goes off on his own. He doesn't think I know
What was the trade? What was the trade?
It's all good. He traded Likely and Drake London for Bijan Robinson. I'm not a bit.
That's not terrible trade. It's not a terrible trade.
Hey, underneath that cowboy hat, we got a guy, man.
He made a great trade. Yeah, they think he made a great trade. So, but he's got to come back. He's got to win it. He hasn't won the league in 3 years. So.